Could it be that Charlie Kirk wasn't supposed to be taken out on 10th of September? That he wasn't supposed to lose his life? Is it possible the original plan was for him to survive it, like Trump, but things went wrong? And another thing, is it possible that something or someone shot him from underneath the table in front of him? I know it sounds crazy to some people, but bear with me. I'm going to make it short and to the point, and of course I will show you evidence that convinced me to finally form an opinion about it. It's been 4 months and all I see on social media are different theories about Charlie Kirk, and I am ready to give you my theory. My tinfoil hat is firmly on. Because don't get me wrong, there are many compelling ones out there and I went back and forth in my mind about them. But the one with something under the table, it just has a chain of events before, during and after the event, what happened, that supports it for me. It's just a theory, I'm not making accusations, everything is based on publicly available material. Okay, so have a look at this video. Don't worry, I won't be showing any disturbing images, everything will be cropped or censored so you can watch without fear. Here it is. You can see something, the arrows are pointing at something shooting from the direction of Charlie's neck, like straight down in a line. Here. Okay, you see, this is it. Where the arrow is pointing, it's flying down. So this is what Project Constitution wrote. The Charlie Kirk shooting is one of the biggest cover-ups in American history, and the evidence is exploding right in front of us. Forget the fairy tale about Tyler Robinson and his magic 30-6 from the rooftop. The official story doesn't hold up when you look at the real footage. Charlie was wearing a tempered glass lavalier microphone, Rode Wireless style. Stu Peters dropped the bomb. Stu Peters, by the way, is the same guy that released the phone call between Mitch and Gary. Glass shards everywhere in the transport SUV, flying on video during the collapse, embedded in clothing. Classic signature of an explosive shatter, just like the Hezbollah pager bombs in 2024. But zoom in closer, between Charlie's legs in the rally footage, you see that telltale blur, a low-speed projectile ejecting downward, not a high-velocity rifle round, shrapnel behavior all the way. And here's the kicker that ties it all together. 3 months ago, I flagged something bouncing off the inside top of the tent in earlier event footage. Looked exactly like a shell casing at first glance. Everyone dismissed it. I now 100% believe that was mic explosion shrapnel too. Same low velocity frag pattern, same directional ejections, neck area, downward, upward bounce on tent fabric. No bullet path matches the official narrative. No clear entry-exit, glass debris in impossible places, multiple fragment trajectories. This was a remote, detonated, shapen, charged, hidden in the mic battery pack, Hezbollah Mossad pager style precision hit, directional blast, instant kill, cover debris to blame a lone gunman. The feds want you swallowing one magic bullet, did all this while ignoring the glass apocalypse on camera. Who's protecting the real killers? Why the rush to pin it on Robinson when the physical evidence screams inside job? Patriots, wake up. This wasn't random, it was calculated. Despite of all this, I don't know why, but I'm having a hard time getting on board with something being detonated. I don't know why, because it is compelling. There's many theories that are very compelling and might as well be true. This one might be true, but I want to explore something different because this tweet made me think about what was going on under that table. Would it be possible maybe for Charlie to be shot, but from much closer than anyone thinks? You can clearly see that something is flying super fast in a straight line down from Charlie's next direction. A lot of creators said it was a projectile. I personally could argue that it's a piece of his necklace. That's why it would be so helpful if no one grabbed pieces of the crime scene immediately after the shooting. Frank Turek grabbed the necklace and now Erica fixed it and is wearing it every day. Anyway, back to my theory. And it is just a theory, so be kind. If you check this video of the moment of impact and pay attention to the movement of his t-shirt, it looks like something flew quickly upwards close to his chest. This is what the shirt would do. Everyone for months now have been looking at this movement of the t-shirt, and to me it really looks like a bullet flying or something flying very quickly, very close to his chest, creating that vacuum up towards his neck. We heard Candace Owens saying that the surgeon mentioned that it was most likely a frangible bullet that breaks down into pieces once in the body. And this would explain the no exit wound. But I want to expand on what I said earlier. I was really overthinking all of it, and it popped in my head that it's possible Charlie wasn't supposed to die. It's possible that it was planned for him to get hurt, like Trump, and then make him a survivor of leftist violence. Tyler Robinson was supposed to be the shooter, but not a murderer. That's why everything that happened after was so stupid and chaotic. They did not think they would be dealing with a murder scene, but it went horribly wrong. Is that why Erica seems to be genuinely struck with grief one moment and suspicious the next? Nah, this woman is just fake. But could it be that she agreed for them to hurt her husband, but she didn't know he was actually going to be killed? Again, this is such a far-fetch, I am admitting it right now. I don't want to go down in the history as a person who threw baseless accusations at someone. It's just a theory, but maybe worth exploring, because it would explain everyone's weird behavior covering for each other. I know to some of you it will sound insane, but aren't we way past the insane limit at this point? What would happen if Charlie got shot but not killed? Has anyone ever asked this question? Tyler would be arrested and accused of attempted murder. His motive was ready. The weirdly written messages, the alphabet boyfriend, behavior of security team, amazing Mikey McCoy and others would make much more sense. Because you remember Mikey, he was like already on the phone. He turned around and walked calmly before Charlie hit the ground. So if he knew that Charlie would get shot but not killed, he would still be calm. He was like, okay, everything is going, spinballing here, okay? Everything is going according to the plan. So he's turning around, he's strolling down the street until someone actually catches up with him and is like, he was actually killed. He's dead. So that's when the panic sets in, yeah? That's when he starts making phone calls, like, oh no, something went effed up. Spinball, I'm writing fantasy now, okay? Andrew Colvett told Candace it was supposed to be you. Did he mean Charlie wasn't supposed to be the one losing his life? He was supposed to just be hurt and used as a tool to progress a certain political agenda? It was supposed to be Candace because her theories and things she was saying on her podcast and interviews started spilling over to what Charlie was saying. He was starting to adapt some of her beliefs. I might take some time and actually create that type of alternative timeline. Because we all keep saying it doesn't make sense how these people behave. From one side, they seem to genuinely be shaken by it, but from the other, they all act very suspicious. So it's like they knew something bad was going to happen, but not that bad. And they cannot talk about it, they cannot say anything because they're all by default guilty, right? Anyway, another video I saw that I found suspicious is this one. It's recorded by one of the students at UVU. Pay attention. Yes. Charlie's sitting down and his security guy is holding the chair down to make sure that Charlie doesn't move the chair even by a centimeter. Did you see? Let's watch it again. Let's watch it again. He had his hand firm on the chair until Charlie sat down, or he let go like right before. I know that there can be other explanations. Charlie is on the platform, so they didn't want him to fall, that's one. Also, there are camera angles set, but he was firmly holding the chair in place, making sure it's not 1 centimeter off. I don't know, I found it odd. As if Charlie had to be in the exact spot they needed him to be. If it was because of the camera angle, how is it a concern of a security guy that the video guys will get a perfect shot? Also, cameras have tripods, they can move and adjust. Another thing that's convincing me is what Baron Coleman noticed. At Charlie Kirk's recent stop in Washington State and Texas A&M, his sound man was positioned on a table next to him. When he died at UVU, his sound man, the one who can be seen flinching before the bang, was on the ground behind the tablecloth. Why? Why the change of the setup? Another difference was that the covers on the table reached the ground actually. There aren't a lot of recordings of pictures that are not blurry to compare it clearly, but here you can see there is no light coming through. The cover is completely to the floor, to the ground, reaching the grass. And then if you take other events from the same tour, they're not reaching the ground. They are actually quite significantly shorter. Obviously, if Charlie was thrown on the floor and the table covers were shorter as usual, people could see him and could see how his people are taking care of him. So it makes me wonder if they were created longer on purpose, knowing that they will not want anyone to see what was happening on the ground behind the tables. I don't know, they will probably say it's the first time they did it all differently because they were trying new things, they wanted it to look better, but there were just too many new things tested that day. Here are just a few examples. We have what was new or different at the event itself. Outdoor tented event, not indoors. Open courtyard with no controlled entry points. That's huge. No bag checks, no metal detectors. Surrounded by multi-story buildings and rooftops. No publicly known rooftop lockdown. No counter sniper or advanced sweep. Prove me wrong, open access format, basically. And then about security and the personnel changes. 6 campus police officers assigned, some plain clothes. Private security focus on close range only. They didn't scan the rooftops. They weren't like all over the place. No federal level protective detail. Reliance on temporary or event day personnel. So they had tent and staging crew, they were new, or at least most of them. AV, sound technicians, campus facilities staff, event organizers, medical standby, EMS, possible third-party security contractors. We heard Candace Owens say it, and she named the people that were actually new. Here are unknowns that matter. Who had roof access? Who approved the layout? Whether rooftops were checked or monitored? What security protocols were different from previous events? You remember the interview with Brian Harpool, who said, oh my God, we couldn't fly drones. But in his interview, Frank Turek was like, oh yeah, we were pulling up for the event and we were receiving drone footage live. Which is it? I'm telling you, they are acting weird. They were ready for something, but they weren't ready for that much. Everything was new that day. And it became an excuse for every weird thing that happened. We were testing stuff. It was his first day on the job. We were experimenting. None of this proves anything by itself, but when you line it all up, these are exactly the details investigators usually look at first. Anyway, we all saw this video multiple times, and I want you to pay attention to this guy, okay? I'm circling him. Now I'll play the video. Pay attention to his behavior. So this obviously is right after Charlie's collapsed on the floor. I don't know what they're doing. They're on top of him. The video is going back and forth, guys, so it's not like a smooth video from start to beginning. I just want you to see, at this moment, someone jumped over the table. You can see the table tipping over. That person is coming into the frame. The guy I told you to pay attention to, he turned on his Google glasses. Here you go. He's pushing the chair off of the platform and suddenly he notices something. And he dives under the table. Why is he diving under the table? What is he doing there? What did he see? What did he find? What is he? This video was originally made to obviously analyze what they were doing and how, if they were performing CPR or some kind of first aid to Charlie. They were trying to stop bleeding, and you know, his hand is showing at some point because they're lifting it. But just recently I saw this guy is diving under the table. Why? What is in there? It might only look like this. Maybe it's the angle, but it looks like he pushes the fallen chair out of the way, the front table slightly moves, and then he just goes under the table. So he saw something, or he needed to fix something, grab something from there. I don't know. I think it might have been also the fact that the guy that jumped over the table and tipped it over, it lifted the cover slightly up, and maybe the guy wanted to pull it back down to cover them. I don't know. It's weird the way their brains were working that day. Like I said, I am okay with being wrong when it comes to my theory. I don't expect to be the person who solved one of the biggest mysteries of our century, but I'm sharing my observations so maybe someone else, smarter than me, can either completely debunk it or take it to the next level. Both would be equally helpful. Anyway, after Charlie was escorted to the hospital, there is this guy disassembling the cameras and taking the SD cards out of them. He even pulls Charlie's bloody chair, stands on it, and takes the camera down. Everyone found this insane except the TPUSA guys, who defended his actions. This guy's name is Terrell Farnsworth, okay? And we found out recently that someone from his family uncle or cousin, I don't remember exactly, but someone from his family is on defense team of Taylor Robinson. I don't know, fact check me on this, but insane. Nobody is looking in there under the table. All attention is driven away from that tent. Here is the video. We all know it by heart by now. Here they are, just hanging, you know. Charlie was just taken to the hospital. Everyone ran away. They're all slowly coming back to see what's going on. They are able to walk around. There were people even taking hats off the table at some point. And here is Terrell, just taking the camera, standing on Charlie's chair. There you go. We see him there looking around and taking out SD cards from the camera, putting them in his pocket. The other guy just texting. Just, you know, day like every day. Oh, cool. Where are the cops? Where is the yellow tape? I'm telling you, it seems like they were ready for something, but they weren't ready for this. That's why it all looks so confusing. Now, after 1 minute, 15 seconds, someone came and told the camera guy to move up. Oh, it's a crime scene. Yeah, okay. Now that we disassembled it, took all our equipment, everyone took whatever they wanted to take. Now it's a crime scene. Now we're going to start investigating and protecting it. Cool. Again, nobody, as far as we know, because there is no footage of it, and we have a lot of footage to look at, nobody checked under the table. Security should have been there within a second, making sure nobody touches anything. Why were they all running around like headless chickens? I would like to see a written timeline of the events. For example, when did actually FBI appear and taped out the scene? Because we have this picture, it's all taped out, okay, yellow tape around. When did it happen? What time exactly? Did they wait for TPUSA to first, you know, grab your things, guys, check what you need, and then you can't come here anymore. We need to start paving. It's serious, guys. You know me now, by now. It's serious, I know. How long was this place? This is the question, open to anybody to walk by. If you can see TPUSA packed up first, they took all their stuff. This tweet points it out, by the way. I found this tweet. It says, authorities on all sides watching them steal the video. This will forever be disturbing, just out in front of everyone because they don't care. The excuse he gave, he wanted to give it to authorities. They were right next to him. So yes, exactly, TPUSA. The guys were on a podcast and they were saying, oh, Terrell, he needed to secure the footage because he was like, there are bad people out there. Okay, cool. We know, look what happened. There is another video, another angle of them playing with the crime scene. Here it is. There you go, freely, just walking around. And you can see, it's right at the beginning, there are still hats on the table. He's like, oh, did I grab my keys? Do I have my phone? Did I get Charlie's necklace? Some pieces? Frank Turek talked about taking Charlie's necklace. Erica is wearing it now. How is it not evidence that should have stayed there? And we all know because Erica told us that she has his phone. I was actually, not Turek's, Charlie's. I was actually told by one of my subscribers, whose husband was also unfortunately killed, that she didn't receive any of his belongings until after the trial was concluded. So what is this weird pattern in this case? And as a cherry on the cake, just a few days later, they paved over the whole crime scene because contaminating it and dismantling it wasn't enough. Here it is.
Let's see what are they doing, because I see a lot of construction smoke going on. Oh no, they are constructing. They are taking out the whole platform where he was sitting, and they are constructing a new one, as you can see. So that's what the change is. And guess what? The killer was there and there was a video taken from here, and that's where you see a killer running behind in the background. And I was like right here when it happened. So this is what is happening right now. I think, oh, as you can see, my boss is still there. They are taking the things inside, so I'm gonna go inside and see.
Apparently, the prosecutor of the case didn't know that the crime scene was paved over. Like, what? What do you mean? There's no crime scene. It's gone. And if you watch this video closely, you can see the exact place on the ground they are focusing on for some reason. Why? Was there something buried in the ground? Let me fix my tinfoil hat. Was there some pieces of bullet or something else that they couldn't risk anybody finding? I don't know if we will ever find answers to these questions, but what I can do is list things that point out to my theory being at least one of the possibilities. So we start with why some people question the official trajectory, and it's not some people, it's most people. Neck entry wound discussed more than chest entry. No widely shown full ballistic trajectory diagram. Trajectory could theoretically move upward if originating low. Event and physical layout questions. Table directly in front of Charlie Kirk. Under table area. Natural visual blind spot. Cameras and crowds focus forward and upward, not downward. Fitness and reaction inconsistencies. Early witness reactions reportedly varied on direction. Yes, a lot of witnesses, it came from right, it came from left, it came from up, it came from down. So depending where you were standing, that's where it came from. If it came from far, I think everyone would like turn, it would sound the same to everyone. I don't know. Sound localization unclear in initial moments, immediate collapse interpreted by some as close-range shock. Security response observations. Security reacted outward, toward expected threats. No immediate focus on near field or internal blind spots. Why the theory persists online. Lack of publicly detailed angle reconstruction. Under table space rarely documented on camera. Proximity plus open access, format fuels, alternative questions. I am not saying this is what happened. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm not claiming I solved anything. I'm just sharing the theory that makes the most sense to me after months of looking at this case and going back and forth in my head. I am truly hoping someone will see it and examine it and maybe come up with something out of it. What bothers me is that there are too many weird things and every single one of them gets brushed off with, oh, it was new, oh, it was chaos, oh, it was just a mistake. The wound, the videos, the table, the covers reaching the ground, the guy reaching under the table right after the shot, the chair being held in a very specific place, the cameras being taken down, personal items being removed, the scene left open, and then the whole area being paved over days later. Any one of these things on its own doesn't mean much, but when you put them all together, it starts to feel uncomfortable, like something doesn't fully add up. And we have been going through it for the past 4 months. The reason I keep coming back to this theory is because it could explain a lot of the behavior we saw after the shooting. If Charlie wasn't supposed to die, if he was supposed to be injured, then suddenly everything that followed makes more sense to me. The confusion, the bad decisions, the lack of control, the way people were acting like they were dealing with an accident, not a murder scene. But I don't think it's crazy to ask questions when there are this many unanswered ones, especially when all the material I'm using is publicly available. I'm not asking you to agree with me, I'm just putting my thoughts out there. Right now, pretending everything about this case is normal doesn't feel honest. But as usual, I want to know what you guys think. Did the shot that take out Charlie Kirk possibly came from under the table or somewhere very close around him? Is it possible that the original plan wasn't to kill him? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and share it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications to never miss another Daily Freddo episode. And for even more content, follow me on Instagram and X @DailyFreddo. That's all for today. Have a good one.